Hi, William Hououin here for a new Villagers and Heroes poll discussion. The last one was about what are your ideas for permanent content which player of all levels can do together. So this one is quite late, the week was kind of crazy, and there was also a patch note, so we'll go over that quickly. Okay, so patch notes 4.71.2. All hidden candy caches have been removed from the event zone. Yeah, so there was an exploit with that, and they had to remove them. That sucks. But I hope it's a feature that will be in the game in the future. I would like to have those type of things all over the world. It gives a reason to search every nook and cranny. So yeah, that's a bummer. Improvements. Added new rewards to Bonnie and Clyde Summit Stashes. Summit Stashes contain either cotton candy and treats, or the all-new exclusive Ivory Mustang mount. So you can see that on the screen right now. It's pretty nice. You fight them, you get $1 for each of the bosses of Bonnie and Clyde, so you get 2, and you have a chance to get the new mount. So that's great. Slightly increased the single target damage of Sugar Sweet Summit ladder bosses. Decreased critical hit damage of Sugar Sweet Summit ladder bosses. Added int tooltips to each of the Sugar Sweet Summit ladder bosses. Changed the affix of Sugarized Rocky Road from Arcane to Piercing. Reduced the spawn rate and healing of Sugarized Sour Patch Eaters Spiderlings. Increased the health of Sugar Sweet Summit Zingara. Change the color of the static mushrooms in Sugar Sweet Summit's Candy Cavern to green, so player can more easily discern the spores. Decreased the difficulty of Sugarized Glaze Fin. Added a vault to Sugar Sweet Summit. That's great. So all of that, and what I've heard from the players, seriously, this week I didn't even played the game really. Did like 2 runs of Bonnie and Clyde, and that was pretty much it. But from what I've heard, the ladder is now easier and more balanced. People seem to be happy, so that's great. I think it was a good update. Bug fixes. Fixed the sugar high buff exceeding the maximum stacks. Fixed typo to Sugarized Sour Patch Eaters summon text. Fixed Sugarized Sour Patch Eaters and Rage charges not resetting. Now for iOS, fixed texture issue with other mounts. That's great. And to mobile only, fixed strobing light issue for the shaman spells Tremors and Earthquake. The color of the spells are now a reddish brown, as it's on PC, and no longer white. You can see those in effect in my latest video of about VNH with the Bonnie and Clyde fight. I did that last week. If you want to see that, it's the white stuff blinking on the ground. So now, the poll discussion. The question was, event zones and raids are both examples of content which players of all levels can partake in together. However, event zones are seasonal and raids are up for a limited time. What are your ideas for permanent content which players of all levels can do together? So, during this poll, there was a lot of conversation, a lot of back and forth, and I just can't do them all. And I mean, at some point there was memes, and memes are nice and all, but it's a hard. What I'm trying to say is it's a hard one to convey in that type of video format. So I'll just go over a few of the ideas that were proposed here. Okay, so we will start with Blue Demon saying, we need new content for 95s, whether it be an off-seasons of raid without rewards and just raids open for the sake of running them, or something other than the same event zones. Older players are going to keep falling off. While yes, it's nice to have new mechanics in the event zone, there is no point to have raids closed for such a long period of time. 3-4 months gap in between raids is exactly how you lose old player, which are usually almost guaranteed money to an extent if you want to think about it from an economic standpoint. But either way, new content, whether it be a level increase, new event zone, or a lower gap in between raid season. High levels are starving for content. Yes, I agree with a lot of those points. Raids without rewards. People tend to like rewards though, so I'm not sure. What I'm sure about is 4 months in between raid season is not a viable option long term. What I do believe is that raids were released while devs were making them. When it's all settled up, I think we will have a lot less of a gap in between seasons. At least that's what I hope. Now we have Sinjin, short and sweet. Something, 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 skatable, something, something, Black Fury Gorge, something, So yeah, level scaled content, Black Fury Gorge seem to be something that people really want. So I wonder if it's a case of you think you want but you don't. We will see if they go with that. Now we have Darlin saying, what about having an Infinity Tower dungeon zone? This could scale the higher you make it up the tower using the currency bounty mobs or multiples of them that get more difficult each floor. This could even provide a new currency shop. Some ideas being that the tower would give tower coins for each floor cleared, and these could be used to buy cosmetics in the tower shop or even a few untradeable premium items like ranching tools or gardening supplies like fertilizer. Could even allow access to purchasing mounts or pets with enough tower coins. Separate from raids, this would be a permanent tower, maybe with a leaderboard, but the goal would be to have a unique set of cosmetics, gear, potions, buffs attainable with a specified amount of tower coins. There would be items that are available elsewhere like ranching and gardening tools, potions, but the goal would be for the unique items. Additionally, if interiors of housing like furniture placement come into game, then maybe an item like a trophy case can be obtainable, and those items could apply PvE buffs to the player once obtained. That last paragraph really speaks to me. That trophy case that gives buffs, that's pretty nice. And I think this could be implemented even without the Infinity Tower dungeon thing. It could be dropped from, Elder or Zingaras or that's a good idea. Okay, now Lux. I am with the grouped villagers content group, maybe minigames. There is a dungeon crawler game, a one-man dev team, which has a minigame card game, for example, Moonshades. I've been playing Moonshades, and yes, there is indeed a card game in it. Yeah, the mini games is something that have been asked a few times. Even a board, a chess board game could do the trick. It would be like crafting station, but instead of crafting, you have two players just clicking there, and you have the crafting windows opening, but instead it's a chessboard and you play chess. I'm not saying it's the holy grail or anything, but something like that would definitely help people stay engaged with the game, stay logged in, let's say. Okay, next, Chardonnay. Here's my little, not really competitive opinion about raids, and as someone who continued raiding every time I logged in and missed them every time they're gone. They are a scaled zone. I play with someone who's never my level, and it's so nice to be able to play any of our tunes together, regardless of our levels. When there is no even zones or raid, it's definitely when we play the least. I've never looked at the raid zone leaderboard. Where is that? You don't need to tell me, I'm not interested. I don't raid to compete with the server. I raid because it's a scaled zone where all levels can play together. It'd be neat if there were dailies in the raid zone. Maybe crafting items available to create raid zone specific potions. Grab a different ingredient from each raid zone and combine them for a raid pizza to share. Or maybe I'm just craving pizza. I adore that this game offers scaled zones. It's one of my favorite things. It's kind of the heart of this game to me, that anyone can play together and play it any way they like. If you're there for the friends, the leaderboard or the pizza, all are welcome and there's something for everyone. Well said, Chardonnay. I fully agree with all of those points. Nothing to add. Ziani coming with: some people like raids, some like daily quest. You could combine those to use a raid zone without timers but with daily quests. This way you can do the zones on your own time and have quests to do. If those are also scaled in level and difficulty, they give a good challenge. Maybe put a time frame to the quest too. I would like to have quests to do in the raid zone, and I really dislike the timer. Why? Why do we need a timer? Next we have Toast. My idea on group content is that periodically Super Zingara would spawn on a map somewhere, but you would have to have a minimum amount of people to target it to trigger its activation. Upon activation, everyone would be scaled to exactly the same level to defeat it. This could be done maybe in a separate instance where you trigger it. Upon completion, you are rewarded with either a unique reward or totems, alternative currency, that you can collect to purchase unique rewards. You could work it the same as a villager, where you find a super node and everyone can join and has to gather as much as they can set against the timer. The rewards could be totems like the combat one based on how many gather they got. These mini trials might be less work to implement than to introduce whole zones. Yeah, that's for sure. People really do seem to want more currency. That's my only gripe with those. I don't want to have more currency. But I like the idea of the Super Zingara, and maybe even more the Super Node. That you need community effort to put it to good use. That's great. The Super Zingara makes me think of like world bosses in some other MMOs that we won't name, but Yeah, Zingara, there could be Super Zingara with a lot more HP and mechanics, and where more people would be needed to defeat it. Next, Neya. What are your ideas for permanent content which players of all levels can do together? Neya says, mini versions of the Rift with 5 or 6 elders, but at the opposite of a ladder, we could have a chance to continue our run even if we die. If possible, with a weekly quest linked to it. Yeah, the Rift is a good place to scale content. It's a fun thing to do when you're, let's say, the right level. Now we have Derry with, I love the idea of doing something with Black Fury, and I think keeping the insane gold cost would be fun as long as there's a pad in there, so it's a one-time headache. I know I'm probably in the minority, but isn't Pinbone fun to complain about? He is one of my favorite villains. Don't take him from me. I agree, Pinbone is like a VNH meme in itself. I do believe we should keep it, and I do believe we should still get ripped off by this dude. I also love the idea of a boss monster that attack player villages, and I really love the idea of a player-made dungeons. Hey, that was mine. So many great ideas. Player-made dungeons have the greatest potential of keeping capped player occupied for an indefinite amount of time because players will have both the creation and the experience to have fun with. I also seem to recall mention on a live stream of it being very difficult to impossible to implement. Yeah, that was my idea. I didn't put it in the video because I knew Derry was talking about it. And so here's my time, let's say. In my head, player-made dungeon would be, you would have a grid and you would do your corridor and rooms, and then you would choose which mobs you put where, and you could use elders as bosses of your dungeon. You would just, drag and drop your mobs and bosses all around. You could set some parameters like if you want a damn timer, you could put one, or anyway, in my head it's quite simple, but I'm not a game dev and I have no idea what challenges comes with that. But in my head it's quite simple. You just draw your corridors, room, put your mobs, boss, and players. I'm sure players would come up with crazy ideas like just one super big rooms with 6 elders being triggered all at once or stuff like that. But anyway, one thing I am sure, if you want permanent content that players are engaging with, man, that sentence is hard to make. Anyway, if you want players to engage with indefinite content, you need, I think, in my opinion, you need to give players agency over that. They need to be a part of making that content in game. But I mean, maybe it's just me. I'm not a game dev or anything like that. And now we have Sir Randall Sham. This, and he's linking a suggestion he made on the forums, so let's look at that. The idea is that there is a new project called Sieges that, like the Wellspring, can be repeated when filled. Maybe a catapult or guard tower added with a project sign. Once filled, the village undergoes a siege. Much like an event zone, all player heroes levels are scaled. All monsters are neutral and scattered among the village so as not to hinder any pure villagers' activities in the village if they do not wish to participate. Killing these monsters gives a count towards the end of the siege, which spawns a boss raid level monster eventually. So I've been cutting a bit of the mechanics here because this video is long enough. Just want to get the general idea. It's a great one, by the way. So yeah, summary. We all use our villages and contribute to them, but most village play is rather solo. This would give members something to do together of any level within the village, especially planning and forming a raid party to kill the last boss. I think villages are a huge attraction to the communal part of interaction and have a lot of potential, but need something to actually pull us together and interact with one another like we would while adventuring. This also gives the heroes of the village a big purpose alongside the villagers out there crafting and gathering their hearts out in the village itself. Thanks for reading. Well, thanks for writing it. I like that. It's like a village raids. And I like the idea that it doesn't hinder people that are crafting, like the monsters spawn and you get killed while crafting in your village. That would suck quite a bit. So I like that this is taken into consideration. So that was it. That was the poll discussion about the permanent content. Thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll see you soon. TM. Okay, bye bye.